Can a body have a constant value but a varying speed? Velocity of a body is a rate of a change of a displacement with time, and speed is the rate of covering the distance of a particle with time. So, is a displacement has both magnitude and direction. Velocity also has same, but as a distance is a scalar quantity. The speed is also a scalar quantity, hence if speed varies, its velocity also varies. Thus, it is impossible to remain the constant velocity of a varying speed. A projectile at an angle 80 degree has a certain range. State the angle of a projection for a horizontal range. Horizontal range for horizontal range angle of projection is u square sine 2 alpha upon g. Horizontal range for angle for projection r1 r2 is equal to u square sine 180 minus 2 alpha upon g. Can a distance of a velocity of an object change keeping the constant velocity? Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible. In case of projectile, when object is projected upward, when object is projected upward, its direction of a velocity changes after reaching at the highest point of the path. At the highest point of the path, but acceleration due to gravity remain constant. Can an object with constant velocity reverse its direction? Yes, when a body is thrown vertically upward. When a body is thrown vertically upward, it is moving with constant velocity. It is moving with constant velocity, but after reaching certain maximum height, it can reverse its direction. A projectile move in a parabolic path. In a parabolic path with without air resistance, is there any point at which acceleration is parallel to velocity? Acceleration is parallel to velocity. No, there is not any point at which acceleration is parallel to velocity. Acceleration is parallel to velocity. This is because acceleration act in a vertical direction and velocity in a horizontal direction. A projectile move in a parabolic path without air. Is there is any point with acceleration is parallel to velocity? No, there is not any point at which acceleration is parallel to velocity. This is because acceleration act in a vertical direction and velocity in a horizontal direction. Can a body have a constant speed but changing velocity? Can a body have constant speed but velocity? Explain with example. Yes, with when a body is moving in a circular path, its speed each point remain constant, but a velocity is changing. A velocity is changing each point during the motion. A ball is projected horizontally from the top to building, and another is dropped gently from same point at a same time, which will be hit the ground first? Both will hit the ground. Both will hit the ground at same time, because the time of a descent of each of a freely body falling or horizontally launched projectile T is equal to root under 2h upon g. Time of descent is depend upon on the height of a fall and acceleration due to gravity and nothing else. So both them will reach the ground here at the same time. If initial velocity of a projectile is double, if initial velocity of a projectile is double, what will happen to its maximum range? What will what would be the effect of a maximum range in doubling the velocity of a projectile? Doubling the velocity of a projectile. Horizontal range of a body projected with u velocity, making the angle theta with horizontal r is equal to u square sine 2 theta upon g. If velocity of a firing is double, v1 is equal to v2 to v1, then new range become the v1 square sine 2 theta upon g, v2v upon 2v square sine 2 theta upon g, 4v square sine 2 theta upon g, 4r. So the new range for 4 time for initial range. A bomb is dropped from a helicopter on a target on the ground, and explain how it can hit the target. When it's dropped from the helicopter, it becomes parabolic path shown in the figure. Figure shown in the figure. Thus, to hit the target, dynamics. Newton first law of motion. Newton first law of motion. Every body in the universe continuous in its state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line, unless it is acted upon by some external force to change its state. The body cannot be accelerated in its state of uniform motion along a straight line in the absence of external force. Impulse, the force which act on a body for short time interval, when the force which act on a body short time interval is impulsive force. This force varies from 0 to maximum and then maximum to 0. Thus, it is possible to measure this changing force. In this case, the effect of this force is called impulse. Hence, impulse force is a measure of a total effect of the force. So, impulse is defined as the product of a average force and during the time which is the force is acting on a body. Impulse is equal to average force into time. Newton third law. Newton's second law. Newton's second law of motion. It is stated that the the change of a linear momentum, of a body is directly proportional to the external force applied on a body to the external force applied on a body, and the direction of a change in linear momentum is along that the force applied. F is equal to ma. Newton's third law of motion. It states to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. There is equal and opposite reaction. The force of a action and reaction are always the force of a action and reaction are always equal and opposite. Equal and opposite. The most important thing in physics, very important, principle of a conversion of a linear momentum. It states that if no external force act on a system, then total linear momentum of an isolated system remain constant without considering effect of mutual interaction of a particle of systems. Why a gun recoil when a bullet is fired? The recoil of a gun is counted by the principle of a conversion, by the principle of a conversion of a linear momentum, as the total momentum is equal to initial final momentum. Free body diagram is also most important in physics. Physics is very easy when you understand all the constant concept. Angle of a friction. Angle of a friction. It is defined as the angle is made by the resultant of a limiting reagent, limiting friction and normal reaction with direction of the normal reaction. What is free body diagram? What is free body diagram? A diagram showing all the forces exerted on each part of a system is called free body diagram. The free body diagram method is very helpful to solving problem in mechanics. When a system contains a number of connected together string ropes etc., then we consider each body at a time by taking account of all forces acting on it. Why does a heavy rifle is not kicked as strong as a light rifle using the same categories? What are the important? What are the importance of Newton first law of motion? Newton first law of motion. It gives qualitative definition of a force. It gives qualitative definition of a force. It introduces inertia is a basic inherent property of a matter. It makes no dynamics distinction between state of rest or uniform motion of a body. It supports universality of a physics law, that is, same law of a physics is applicable everywhere in the universe. It is declared the existence of an initial system. When a bus, when a bus suddenly stop, when a bus suddenly stop, the passenger standing on its thrown forward. Explain why. The seat, the feet being in a contact with bus. The feet beings contact with the bus share the state of rest. Share the state of rest of a bus when the moving bus suddenly stop. When the moving bus suddenly stop, however, the upper part of passenger not being contact with the bus, try to continue its previous state of motion. In its therefore, the passenger fall forward when the bus is suddenly stopped. A ball thrown upward in a uniform motion. A ball is thrown upward in a uniform motion train return forward. When a ball is thrown upward from uniformly moving a train, it's moved with a same horizontal velocity as that the train due to the inertia of a motion. The vertical velocity does not affect the horizontal velocity. Consequently, both of the train and ball travel of a same horizontal distance for to time to time of flight of a ball is the ball returned toward the thrower. Is it possible for a body to have no matter at the center of a gravity? Yes, in a case of halo sphere, halo cylinder, etc., the center of a gravity lies the geometrical center, but no matter lies at a center. All the matter lies outside only in the case of halo body. Why a cow is more stable than the man? Why a cow more stable than a man? A man has two legs. A man has two legs and cow has four legs. Due to this reason, the base of a cow on the ground is much more than that for a man. As a result, even a small push we can displaces the center of a gravity. As a result, when small push can be displaces the center of a gravity of a man out the base or two leg is unstable. Whereas even a large push not displace the center of a gravity outside the base has four legs. As a no as we know, a body will be stable. Its displaced center of gravity lies within the base of a body and unstable if its displaced center of gravity lies outside the base. Since in a case of a cow, the displaces center of gravity is always lies within the base, cow is more stable than the man. Hello, hello, welcome everyone. work power and joule. Work power and energy. If a perpendicular force if a force acts perpendicular to the direction of a motion of a body, at what movement, what amount of work done? The force is zero because there is no displacement in the direction of a force. Why is the work done by a centrifugal force is zero? Why work done by the centrifugal force is zero? For a force moving, for a body moving along with a circular path, the centrifugal force act along the radius while displacement is tangential, tangential, and theta is equal to 90 degree, and work done is equal to F yes cos theta. Cos theta को value 19, so whole value is equal to 0. So the work done by the centrifugal force is 0. A porter moving vertically upward and stair with a suitcase on his head of a Dutch work while the porter left with suitcase vertically to the upward. Force has to be applied on the suitcase against force of a gravity as the porter does work. Does the work done in raising a suitcase in a platform depend upon how fast it is raised up? No. The work done depend on the force of a gravity. The work done is depend upon force of a gravity and height through which suitcase is raised. It does not depend on time rate with which the suitcase is raised. Some point of energy. Energy does not depend on time taken to do work. However, power is depend upon the time required to do work. What sort of energy associated with a bird flying in a air? A flying bird possesses both potential and kinetic energy because it is a certain height above the ground and moving with a velocity. And moving with a velocity. potential energy, the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position or configuration. It's called potential energy. Does the potential energy of a spring decreases or increases when compressed? Does the potential energy of a spring decreases or increases when it's compressed or stretched? The potential of a spring increases because the work done on it when it is compressed or stretched. Can a body have energy without momentum? Yes, there is an internal energy of a body, bod, internal energy of a body due to the thermal integration, integration of a particle of a body, while the vector sum of a momentum is moving particle may be zero. Welcome, welcome. Everyone, welcome. Like, please. It's necessary that work done on a motion of a body over a closed loop is zero. Every force in nature. Why? No, the work done in the motion of a body over a closed loop is zero. Only in case of a conservative force, but it is not zero. In the case of a non-conservative force like friction, while water at a foot on of a fall to be different temperature from top to bottom? If yes, explain. While the water at the top foot of the fall be different temperature from that of that at a two, if yes, when the fall from the when water is fall from the height, its potential energy converted into kinetic energy. The velocity of a maximum the velocity of a water is maximum. Velocity of water is maximum at the foot of the fall. When water falls, the kinetic energy of water when water falls, which kinetic energy it had just before stinging the ground, it is converted into heat energy and which rise the temperature of water at the foot of the fall. Centrifugal force. A force which is equal to move a body in a circular path with uniform velocity is called centrifugal force. It is always act along the radius and towards the center of a gravity. A stone is tied to end of a string is wire laid in a circle. If the string breaks, the stone flies away tangentially by the intensely velocity of a stone going ground and the circular path is always along tangent to the circle. When the string is break, the centrifugal force is cases. Due to inertia, the stone continues its motion along tangent to the circular path. If a net force acting on a particle, if net force is acting on a particle in uniform circular motion, why does the particle speed not change? This is because the force acting on a particle moving in a uniform circular motion is perpendicular to its displacement at which end every point is a resultant. During resultant work done by the force become zero. Why it is more difficult to move a stone tied with a longer string than the stone tied with a shorter string. When a stone of a mass m is trying with a string and revolve in it to a circle, the centrifugal force acting on it. When the length of a string is moved is more, then centrifugal force acting on a stone become more and more, and then more forces is required to balance it. So it is more difficult to revolve a stone by typing it to a longer string than by a shorter string. Why does a cyclist learn lean from the vertical while turning a curved track? A cyclist inclines himself to vertical while moving round of a circular path to provide necessary centrifugal force. Thermal expansion. Type of thermal expansion: linear expansion, superficial expansion, cubical expansion. Some particle of application. Thermal stress, most important. Thermal state is a mechanical state created by any change in temperature of a particle. This state can be lead to fracturing or plastic deformation depending on other variables of heating, which include material type and contrast. Are there any other materials subject to enormous expansion except water? Yes, besides the water, substances like misfood, silicon, gallium from solid that all expand sol- solidification and are less dense than the liquid at the freezing point. Why does a beaker filled with water at a 4 degrees Celsius overflow if temperature is decreases or increased? If temperature is bogged filled with water decreased below 4 degrees Celsius, then the volume increases up to 0 degree Celsius due to anomalous expansion, and hence water will overflow from bucket. They are welcome. Please support. Support. Newton's law of cooling. The rate of a loss by a body is directly proportional to the temperature difference of a body and its surrounding. Does the specific capacity of a substance depend on its temperature? Yes, the specific capacity varies with temperature of a substance. When the temperature of a substance is changed, then the molecular structure of a substance is also changed. This is because the amount of a heat is depend upon the molecular variation and specific heat capacity of a substance changes with its temperature. Specific heat capacity of water is 42 joule per degree Celsius per kg degree Celsius. It's taken average value temperature range 0 degree Celsius to 100 degree Celsius. Generally, specific capacity increases with increase in temperature. Explain why water is used as a cooling agent in automobile engine. Since water has specific capacity, so it absorbs more quality of a heat from the engine than other substance for the same fall of a temperature of an engine. So water is used as a cooling agent in automobile engine. Principle of physics. Likely Why water is taken as a hot substance in hot water bag, or water is used in hot bottles or hot water tank. Why? Since water has high specific capacity, due to this, it stores large quantity of heat. As a result, it will remain hot for longer time and than other material. So water has been taken as a hot substance in hot tank. A matchstick can be lightened by rubbing it against a rough surface. While a matchstick is rubbed against a rough surface, then mechanical work done is done against friction. So, mechanical work done is converted into heat and which light up in the matchstick. Why do animals eat more during winter? Explain. Little law cooling. In winter, the difference between the temperature of our body and surrounding will be more. So, it causes the rate of loss of energy from the body. It will become larger. Hence, the compensate balance the loss of energy within a body. Animal eat more during winter. Electric building density Gauss theorem. Gauss theorem is state that the total electric flux passing through any closed surface, including a charge, is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times charge enclosed within the closed surface in a vacuum. What is electric line of a force? The imaginary line of a force which a tangent at a point on it gives the direction of an electric field at a point are called electric line of a force. State and prove that Gauss law of electrostatics. Statement: the net electric flux passing through an enclosed surface is equal to 1 upon epsilon naught times to the net electric charge enclosed by the closed surface. Electric field at a point inside a charge conductor is zero. Why? It is because all the charges of a conductor resets only its outer surface. Can a solid conducting sphere hold more charge than a hollow sphere of a same radius? The reason. No, all the charges of a conductor remain the outer surface. So, solid conducting sphere and hollow sphere of a Same radius hold same amount of charge. For what order the distance of a column are true? It is true for all the distance greater than nuclear distance. A charged particle is free to move in a electric field, while it is always move along electric field. No, the direction of a motion of charged particle depend on nature of a charge on it. Positive charge move away along electric field, but negative charge move in a direction opposite of electric field. A proton is placed. A proton is placed in a uniform field electric field directed along the positive y axis. In which direction it will tend to move. Proton is positive charge particle, so it experiences force along the direction of field. Due to this force, it will tend to move always positive y axis. Potential gradient. The rate of a change of electric potential with respect to distance along the direction of line of a force is electric potential gradient. It is denoted by V upon R. Electric volt. Electric volt is defined as the to measure the energy of a particle. Joule will be quite large unit and hence it is inconvenient. Inconvenient. So one electron is used to measure the energy of a charged particle such as electron proton in an atomic nuclear scale. 1 electron volt. 1 electron volt is defined as the gained by an electron with when accelerated through a potential difference of 1 volt. Potential difference is equal to work done upon charge. Equipotential surface. Any surface over which the electric potential remains constant. Any surface over which the electric potential remains constant at every point is called equipotential surface. In such surface, the potential difference between any 2 points in is zero. An electrostatic potential at a point is be zero, while electric field at that point is not zero. Yes, potential at any point on perpendicular bisector of a dipole is zero, while electric field is not zero. What do you mean by equipotential surface? Write some property of them. Any surface is said to be equipotential surface if potential on each and every point on the surface remains same. The following are the properties of equipotential surface. Electric line of a force are always perpendicular to equipotential surface. Work done is a test of a equipotential surface is zero. No two equipotential interact. Potential difference between any 2 points on equipotent surface is zero. Can we produce high potential on a body without getting the stroke? Yes, we can. For this body should be standing on insulating stand. Due to insulation, charge cannot flow through the body and hence it does not receive electric shock. What are the importance of Gaussian surface? It helps to calculate the electric field intensity at a given point for the symmetric charge distribution. If two electrons are bounced near each other, what happens to their potential energy? When two electrons are negatively charged are bounced near each other, work has been done against their force of repulsion. This work done is increases potential energy. How will you apply Gauss' law of electrostatics on a charged spherical hollow conductor at the center? There is no charge at the center of hollow conductor. Will there be effect of potential if medium around the charge is changed? Yes, on changing the medium around the charge, the value of the electric constant charge which affect on potential greater value dielectric constant is smaller the potential. What is the shape of equipotential surface for point A charge and linear momentum? First plug is spherical on charge, second plug is cylindrical. Is Gauss law valid for gravitational field also? Yes, it is valid for gravitational field too. Only difference in gravitational field. Only difference in gravitational field one fourth pi epsilon naught. Change to gravity and charge replaced by a mass m inside the Gaussian surface. Capacitor. Capacitor is also known as the condenser. This this is one of the passive component like resistor. Capacitor is generally used to store the charge. In a capacitor, charge is stored in a form of electric field. Capacitor play a major role in a many electrical and electronic circuit. Generally, a capacitor has two parallel metal plates which are connected to each other. Two plates in a capacitor are separated by non-conducting medium. This medium is commonly known as dielectric. Principle of capacitor. The capacitor the capacity of a capacitor is not only depend on a shape and size of the conductor or the medium in which it is placed, that also on a position of a conductor with respect to the conductor. Parallel plate and its capacitance most important, and it's also most important. Spherical you it's also most important. Parallel plate capacitor and its capacitance. Parallel plate capacitor is the smallest form of the capacitor that consists of two parallel metal plates is separated by dielectric medium through a small distance d. Regarding energy density of a capacitor, the energy stored per unit volume of a capacitor is called energy density of a capacitor. The energy stored per unit volume of a capacitor is called energy density of for a capacitor. Working formula for a miracle. Capacitance C is equal to Q upon F. Capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor C is equal to epsilon naught A upon D. Dielectric constant K is equal to E upon epsilon naught. Capacitance in series Q is equal to constant V is equal to V1 plus V2 upon 1 upon C 1 upon C1 plus C2. Capacitance in parallel V is equal to C1 plus C2. Energy stored in a capacitor 1 upon 2 Q square upon C. Energy density 1 upon 2 epsilon naught E square. Is there any way by producing high voltage on your body without getting a shock? Yes, for this we needed to stand on insulating surface and touch the live wire of high power supply, and this cases a high potential to be developed on our body without causing any shock. Can we give any desired charge to a capacitor? No, we cannot give any desired charge capacitor. There is a certain limit of which a capacitor can be charged depending on its capacitance. When a charge on plate is increased, the electric field between plates increases at a certain limit. The potential gradient may exceed the dielectric strength of the medium, and then insulated wire would be break down. This produces the spark, and hence the capacitor start discharging. When a capacitor is charged and then discharged, rapidly, its dielectric gets heated. Why? The energy consumed during the polarization of a dielectric is not completely recovered during the process of depolarization. So some energy is lost during the charging and discharging of a capacitor in the form of heat. Is the result dielectric get the heated. What is nucleus? What is nucleus? Discuss 4 point properties of the nucleus. What is nucleus? The branch of a physics that deals with the study of atomic nucleus and associated phenomena is called nuclear physics. What is atomic nucleus? Who discovered it? A small centrifugal, central, massive and positive core part of an atom surrounded by orbiting electron is called atomic nucleus. The nucleus was discovered in 1911 by the Rutherford and is covered by the experiment of alpha particle scattering. Einstein's mass energy relation. Write down the significance of mass energy equivalence. This relation states a universal equivalence between the mass and energy. It means the mass may appear as a energy and energy as a mass. The relationship between E is equal to mc square between energy and mass from the basis of understanding nuclear reactions such as fusion, etc. These relations take place in a nuclear reactor when a urine nucleus is split up and decreased its total rest mass appear in the form of equivalent amount of kinetic energy to its fragment. What we mean by bending energy in the term of packing fraction? The bending energy is defined as by the relation of B is equal to del mc square. Why is it easier to take out nucleon from the carbon than from iron? Why it is easier to take out the nucleon from the carbon than the from iron? Binding energy is the minimum energy required to either bend or separate the constituent particle of a nucleus. So, magnitude of a bending energy of a nucleus determines its stability against disintegration.